A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel, the Twin Flame Union. In today's session, I would be talking about Karma Yoga because in the Twin Flame journey, you cannot grow without the practice of Karma Yoga. So basically, inner work, as the word itself, the phrase itself explains, you go within yourself, okay, and you find out what are the things that need correction, what are the things that need release, and what are the wounds that need to be healed. So when you go within and you figure it out for yourself, what exactly is creating your life, and people don't do inner work, or people won't take all this trouble until and unless they get really fed up of how things have been in their life. Right? In the twin flame journey also, all divine feminines, they all know it, that they get into inner work only when the masculine has totally ignored them, blocked them, is not talking to them, thinks really negatively about them. In some cases thinks that she's some kind of crazy person, tells her to go away. In some cases, before things went bad for both of them, he was very loving and very caring and very nice and very sweet to her, and suddenly he changes. And when this big change or this strange kind of change happens, in some cases it also happens that there's a karmic in the picture. In some cases he is involved in some karmic template, some kind of work or some kind of study or some kind of family matter is there, so he does not do much. But in some cases there's another person involved, and when this another person is involved, this really hurts the feminine. Even if the other person is not involved, depending on template to template, person to person, the feminines are hurt. And when they try to Google what happened to them, or when they try to find out how to fix things, how to feel better, this is also inner work. Exactly, the inner work starts when they are looking for how to fix their life. When they start looking up information, they find out about other things also, like law of attraction techniques. They find out about affirmations. They find out about writing this, writing that. There are many ways. Journaling is there. Then some people find a therapist. They connect with a therapist and they get into inner work. Some people start doing their inner work on their own. Some people somehow, without knowing or unknowingly, they just fall into the path of devotion. A good number of people put in a lot of years in just waiting, because someone just tells them or they read it somewhere that you should wait for your divine masculine and do this and do that. They wait, and there are 5 years, 6 years, 7 years pass by and they don't get to know what's happening. And then they are like, no, there's something wrong with whatever I'm doing. I'm just sitting and waiting and nothing has changed for me. And then they start doing inner work by listening to some kind of uplifting content, motivational content. They study a lot about twin flame. They study about wounds. They study about many psychological problems, mental disorders that people have. And they also look for how their life is so messed up. And maybe the adults who raised them, they have some kind of disorder, or the opposite polarities of those disorders have somehow passed into them. For example, if they were raised by parents who didn't care a damn about the world and they were too bold and always doing whatever they wanted to do, always living their life. The children, however, were opposite. Why? Because while the parents were living their own life, they would totally ignore the children. But is it really wrong to want to live your own life, do your own things from an individual's perspective? And what is the difference between selfishness, extreme amount of selfishness, and being selfless? Being so selfless that you don't have any amount of concept of self-respect. So many such things or many such questions get answered in the twin flame journey. But one of the best ways to actually come to terms with reality and change your reality is the practice of Karma Yoga, especially in the twin flame journey. Now let me explain you the breakage of this word Karma Yoga. So karma, as we all know, is action. Okay, we all do karma. In Hindi, the word is karm, but when they translated in English, it becomes karma or karma, but actually it's karma yoga, because yoga is different and yoga is different. Let's understand what is yoga. Yoga is a psychological, physical, and spiritual practice that liberates you. And when I say liberates, it's not some kind of drug-induced liberation. Liberation takes you close to God. And that whole process, that whole practice is yoga. So practicing yoga while doing action, that is karma yoga. What is action now? Very simple. Whatever work you do is action. Whether you're sitting, it's action. You're standing, it's action. You're sleeping, you're lying down, you're eating food, you're going to the garden, you're thinking about something. All of that is action. And you also have to understand that liberation is extremely important in the twin flame journey. Now, I've been away for a week because I think I got affected by the Lionsgate portal. Not a lion. Lionsgate's portal had a huge impact on me, and it was seen that many other people who are also in the ascension journey were going through it, because a lot of us are supposed to learn via our pain. We are not supposed to learn by singing and dancing and doing happy things all the time. And though it is said that this particular energy impact is supposed to be really good, and I did feel it actually. I felt that in the last 1 week, the amount of things I learned or the amount of progress I made, it is huge. It is huge. And if I feel like this, I'm sure a lot of other people also feel the same way. Under the post section, I had shared 2 posts. One was the energy update for Divine Feminines, and the other one was, if people are going through some health issues, they're getting fever, or if it's not health issues, but they're going through some psychological issues like anxiety or panic attack or some kind of depressive thoughts. It's all a part of this energy shift. And it's a huge energy shift. It happened on 8th of August, but the effect went on till at least 12th and 13th. So yes, I was also one of those who got affected by it big time. And that's the reason why I did not do any reading or any channeling in the last 1 week, because I was like, it would not be good if I do it right now. I need to wait and see what exactly happens after it's over. So Karma Yoga helped a lot during this whole procedure. Karma Yoga helped a lot because you can keep being in any state. You could be in bed also the whole day, but you can still do Karma Yoga. That is the beauty of Karma Yoga. You could be eating, drinking, walking, talking, anything you do, you continue with your practice. See, because in the twin flame world, most people don't know this, but I'll tell you, twin flame world, liberation comes from devotion. And that's the reason why we keep talking about source integration. We keep telling people that you cannot learn or you cannot ascend merely by reading books and becoming some kind of intellectual or very intelligent person who has a PhD in reading books, or he has some kind of degree in some kind of course they have done. That's not how it works in the twin flame journey. For any ascensioner, for any twin flamer, for any star seed, for any light worker, all of these people, the only path to salvation or victory or success is surrender to source, and then constantly be in the name of source, constantly chant the name. Now, it's obviously not possible for any normal person to constantly meditate, to leave all your work and just keep meditating sitting in one corner, or constantly chanting, with a rosary. So that's the reason why this technique was devised, so that you don't have to leave your duties. Because another very important aspect of twin flame journey is that you don't leave your duties. You don't leave your responsibility. If you leave your responsibility in the name of spirituality, you are not actually spiritual. You are a runner, which is what DM also does, right? He runs away from difficult situation. He thinks that this relationship is going to be tough on me, or it would be painful, it will never work out. And so he gets angry in very small things, he gets scared in small things, and he runs away. Sometimes running doesn't have to always be a 6 months thing or a 1 year, 2 year thing. Running can happen in day-to-day regular life also. For example, the DM finds out that he needs to take responsibility of somebody. What he'll do is he'll find out a way, he'll make some excuse to get rid of that responsibility. Okay? So Karma Yoga will bring people into the present moment. Karma Yoga helps you to come into the present moment. Merely by just saying that I want to be present or I want to practice the power of presence, you can't do it. You have to do it. But you do it while you are doing your job, your duty. So you don't have to leave anything. You don't have to run away from anything. You don't need to go into any retreats. You don't need to stop living your life. You gotta continue to make money, because we also tell all the householders that if you become dependent on other people, your meditation will never be good, because this is exactly what we are trying to get the feminines out from. We want them to get out from the pattern of codependency and getting into a comfort zone, getting into a comfort level and not getting out of it. That is also a big mistake, because if you're going to get into the comfort zone, you will never progress. You'll never learn. You'll never be who you're really supposed to be. You keep doing your karma. You keep doing your action. Now, during this action, of course, there are a couple of things that are needed. So, why do we sit in closed eye meditation? Why do we say that we must sit in meditation at least twice, morning and evening? So that, we get strong at least in that area, that while we are sitting with our eyes closed, we practice. We practice connecting with God. And then, once we step out of it, we remember that just the way you're practicing meditation with closed eyes, same way with open eyes, you're supposed to do meditation. Okay? So you don't have to leave anything. Say you love gardening. You love to tend to flowers. You love to grow plants. You love to water plants. You love to arrange your house. You love to do some kind of interior designing for your house. You like to make crafts. You like to clean your place. Sometimes there is a lot of clutter in your house. Lot of clutter. So if there is a lot of clutter, we say in astrology that this person is impacted by a planet called Rahu. So wherever there will be Rahu, there will be clutter, there will be disorganized lifestyle. You will see in corners or in some places stacks of things. There will be a lot of things that people have hoarded onto. So in the Twin Flame journey, we have various types of inner work. We tell also people, and it's a part of inner work by the way, we tell people to declutter their house. We tell people to reorganize everything. We tell them to throw away the things they don't need anymore. We tell them to donate things that don't fit them anymore. We tell them to let go of things that they just sitting around everywhere. Then we tell people to connect with nature. We tell people to go out for walks. We tell people to do exercises. We tell people to eat healthy. All of these things are a part of conscious living, aware living, relaxed living, and surrendered living. Because when you surrender, you don't worry about every small thing that bothers you. You don't care about anything that is negative. Like if you have people around you who are very negative and annoying and they demoralize you or in some way they trigger you. So we tell people if they are triggering you, that's because you're also giving them the remote control to trigger you. If you don't get triggered, if you don't get affected by those people, how are they going to affect you? They will not have the power to affect you. If you constantly focus on them, you're constantly looking at them, you're constantly looking at the fact that they're looking at you, it means all your focus is on them, all your energy is on them. Then these type of practices, the mental practices, the psychological, mental and spiritual practices which liberate you, and while you're doing your work, you're not leaving your work, these things connect you with that part of you which is more peaceful, who likes to ignore things that don't matter to them, who do their work, they enjoy their work, they don't like to be dependent on other people, they don't live with people just because they cannot live alone. So they just live with any Tom, Dick and Harry, or they go ahead and live with people who are very toxic. They will continue to please the toxic family members or toxic siblings or toxic relatives and even believe that there is something toxic. you know. Now we want people to reach to a point where if something toxic comes to them, they will stop over there and they will look at themselves, they'll look within, and they'll try to figure out where is this toxicity getting attracted from, what part of me, what attribute of me, what behavior pattern of me is attracting this. And we don't want you to live in blame, because if you live in blame, that is low frequency energy. If we tell you to let go, okay, I'll let go, forgive people, move on, just be happy, don't depend on anyone, that means you will be in an uplifted energy zone. But these things only become possible when you're completely attentive and aware of your feelings. Say if you're not aware of the fact that somebody is triggering you, or you're getting triggered, or there are toxic people who are making you uncomfortable, okay, or you're reacting a lot. So after you have reacted, even if after 24 hours you realize that you have been reacting, you were very negative, you said some mean things, you said some horrible things, and you realize that yeah, it was you also who had that type of toxic energy. That's the reason why you were so affected by it. If you realize it after 24 hours also, it means you are living in awareness. Because aware people, they know about mood swings, they know about mood shifts, they know when they are in pain, they know who is affecting them, they know exactly everything. They'll know it. And then what do you do after you know it? You pray to God, you say sorry, you ask for forgiveness. You not only forgive those people who are torturing you, but you also forgive your own self for being tortured or being affected by those things. Now, does this mean that you continue to live in filth or filth with filthy people or with stupid people? First of all, if you stop reacting to those people, they are not going to trouble you the way they were troubling you earlier. Secondly, if you don't get manipulated by other people, those people will stop manipulating you as well. Thirdly, if you are able to do these two things well, then automatically you are not going to trapped or get caught up with these things, and you are going to form very healthy boundaries with people. Like, nobody is perfect. All the narc abuse that we speak about, why do we talk about narc abuse? We don't want you to start thinking that everybody is a narcissistic, because I watch some content shared by people online on narcissism. They share very good content, not denying that, and it's very full of entertainment or information and all that. But then they make people feel that those people are narcs, so they are inferior to you, and you are the empath, so you are superior to them. You know, so this creates again a kind of a superiority inferiority complex within a person. And in the twin flame world also, this creates some kind of victim mentality that, oh, I am the empath, so I get always badly treated by the narcs, and the narcs are narcs, they are just very mean and they are very selfish. Now we study narcissism or the NPD disorder so that, because this is a very difficult disorder to heal. It is one of the most difficult disorders to heal, or the impact of narcissistic energy is too high everywhere in people's life also. And in most cases, it is the adults who are first the narcs, and then it is passed on to the children, who then grow up. You know, if they're sensitive, then they'll get very troubled by it. If they're not very sensitive, then they will become the ones who will enable the same type of behavior. Okay, so then that means we need to heal from all of this. We need to heal so that we don't fall into the category of people who are victimized and who are constantly getting bullied or affected by narcs. The narcs, whosoever it is, the narcs are always going to be the same. Now, this is something that I'm not going to change. I'm not going to say that suddenly they'll all become very selfless, they'll all become very angelic, and they'll be like, oh, come on, I'll do this for you, I'll do that. But yes, the relationship will improve. Why? Because you are not codependent, because you are not falling into that. In fact, even if they tell you certain things where you feel that they're very negative, or they're constantly gossiping or bitching about someone, and you're also doing the same thing sitting with them, you will tell them that no, it's not like that, just let it be, you know. Or you will start pointing out something positive about those people, whosoever, you know, is in the picture, who's been discussed. Or you would not lie about your true emotions. You would tell very clearly and very honestly to whosoever is a narc in the scene that this is what it is. I'm being very honest, and I'm not scared of being honest. I don't want to please you either. I don't want to run after people like you, someone like you, and they'll say it in a very graceful manner. So and as I've said before also, with narcs, there is no use of discussion, because they'll always defend, they'll always justify their mistakes. They'll never own up to it. A healthy person is the person who says, okay, I think you did not like what I did, I maybe made a mistake. Next time onwards, I'll make sure that I don't bring it up to you. Or, you will become smarter. Instead of depending on them, you'll stop having expectations from anyone. So we tell the feminines also, don't have any expectations from other people. You don't have to. Now, some people, I remember once I was in some kind of a group discussion on the same subject, and people were asking me, how is this possible to not have any expectations from others? Without expectations, there is no life. Expectation is a must. It is a requirement. If you don't expect good things from others, how do you get good things? Because even in law of attraction world, they say expect this, expect that, blah, blah, blah. So I tell people that if you're going to expect, where are you then? Are you in the present moment? No. You're expecting. So you're not in the present moment. You're not living your life. And why do you need to expect from other people? Why can't you do your own things? Why do you have to expect that someone will bring a glass of water to you? Why can't you just get up and get one for yourself? So we want people to become so independent that they become super amazing just by being independent. If someone then does something good for you, it comes as a surprise, not an expectation. Right? Not that I expected you to keep surprising me or bring me flowers or bring me gifts or do nice things to me. Even if your partner, because see, once you get married to someone or once you're in a relationship, you don't have to expect people to be perfect. They can never be perfect. Nobody can be perfect, not even you. Okay, so these are all the things that work out automatically with the help of Karma Yoga, because you're very aware in the moment. You're always aware in the moment. You're constantly awake, agile, you're healthy. You know what you eat. You know how much you eat. You know what you wear. You know all your habits, good and bad. And then you can tweak them and you can change them and you can make things better. I felt that it's very, very important for people to know the benefits of Karma Yoga and what exactly it is, not just by definition, because it is going to help everyone. And next time onwards, if someone wants to know what is Karma Yoga, you can just simply look up for this video. And in the end, I would like to say that Karma Yoga becomes perfect when you have a name that you chant every day, all the time. And that's why I keep telling people to chant the solar plexus sound. Why? Because the solar plexus sound, Ram, the sound of Ram is the most powerful sound. It's the most beneficial, most uplifting, very, very, very powerful Bij mantra. Bij mantra means the seed mantra. Bij mantra is a type of sound which will become like from a seed to a tree. That powerful. So when you plant a seed, it is having the potential to create unlimited, uncountable seeds of the same nature, because each seed creates many seeds, right? So why not plant the correct seed, the correct Bij mantra? And then obviously our confidence, our relationships come from our confidence. If you are not confident, neither would you be happy in your relationships, neither would you be happy alone, neither would your work flourish, neither would anything else work out for you. So that's the reason why we want people in the twin flame journey to focus on the healing of your solar plexus, your third chakra from below. And I'm talking about the chakras which are in the body, the 7 chakras. Total we have 12 chakras, right? So when you chant a name, say you chant Ram, Ram, Ram throughout the day, while you're doing your work, while you're cooking, cleaning, driving, even you can sing and chant the name of God. So it's up to you, but I think the most scientifically proven and most powerful sound is the sound of Ram, which is also the sound of the solar plexus, Manipura chakra, which means the city of jewels. So once you unlock this chakra, automatically the city of jewels get unlocked. All your jewels are there, all your gifts are there. You'll start receiving them one by one. On this note, I would be signing out from this session. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will see you soon in another one. One love and peace out.